Today I am reading from the book Spirit of Homeopathy, book written by Dr. Rajan Sankaran. Mind section, chapter number 30, Application of Repertory, part 2. I give below some hints to enable you to use almost all the rubrics of the repertory. Now, rubric N, ailment from. This rubric is one of the most frequently used section of the synthetic repertory. However, I use it very little and differently from others. For example, ailment from disappointment, new ignatia and old netromure. When is disappointment new and what point does it become old? It is new as long as it's fresh in your mind, even though several years might have passed. It is old when it has become a scar to provoke only when touched or prodded, even though it might be just a few days after the incident. It is not necessary to have the specific causative factor in the life of the patient in order to use this rubric. If from whatever cause or even without any apparent cause, the patient's whole state expression resembles that of the person who has been freshly disappointed, I use the rubric ailment from new disappointment. This could have occurred after a failure of examination or loss of a relative, or even without any obvious cause. In such a person who shows an expression of fresh disappointment, if we do not find any such incident, it becomes double important. Similarly, I use the ailment from rubric almost as much as I use delusion. For example, if the father of the patient dies of cancer and react to it by visiting several doctors, the rubric is not ailment from grief, but ailment from fright. So the ailment from is not to be taken from the actual incident but from the expression of the patient. The more the expression is uncommon for the incident, the more peculiar it becomes. Now, rubric fear children in. I interpret this I interpret this as a fear like that of a child or children. It is possible to use several children rubrics in adult. For example, obstinate children, restless children, weeping children, spoiled children, desire to be carried. The patient is child in that aspect. For example, his stubborn may resemble the stubbornness of the child. In adult who have fear of ghost, fear of being alone in the darkness, and other fear which are mentioned in the childlike way, you can take the rubric fear in children. Rubric the people to and rubrics that people belongs to the old age, puberty and women who can also be used in this way. Now another rubric is quarrelism alternating with singing. In these interpretations, at one time the person is quarrelism and other time the same person is singing. The rubric with the alternate symptom are very useful since they will show us a two phase that can coexist in the same person at different time. So when at one time the person is cheerful and another time from the slightest cause he can get very quarrelism, then you can take this as a cheerfulness alternate with quarrels, provided they are quite intense and marked. Now other rubric is the rubric under insanity. Insanity does not refer merely to mad people. Insanity means loss of one's sense or wisdom or reasoning power. For example, insane jealousy is jealousy which is not reasonable. Another rubric I use is insanity drunkard. Drunkard is a person who is excited and exalted, has lost some control. It does not necessarily have to be used only in people who have consumed alcohol. If the person has lost his reserve and excited in other word, act like a drunkard and gone mad, we can use this rubric. On patient, would not let anyone touch her. just would not like to touch her for no reason whatsoever. In her case, I use the rubric insanity, touch will not be. Now, other rubric is delirium. One could also use the rubric for people who do not fall into the category of the scientific definition of delirium. It has to be used more in the dictionary sense. Means light-headed, excited, wandering in mind. If you observe carefully, you will see some of your patients talking deliriously. Now, next rubric is impatient with children. The rubric impatient with children would be interpreted as a impatient only when her children. Similarly, whenever you get such modalities or qualification, then you have to understand that it applies particularly to the things that is qualified. For example, violent to his friend means violence particularly or only to friends. Talk of business would means talk particularly or only about the business, or talk about most things in a business like way. Now, next rubric is theorizing evening. When you get a time modality or other physical modality, you have to see what it means in term of the mind. In the above rubric, evening denote the time when a person is idle after finishing the day's work. So, theorizing in evening means he fantasizes when he is idle, like Walter Mitty. Similarly, the rubric anxiety sitting while bent denotes anxiety when a person is sitting relaxed. Now, next rubric is whipping goes off alone and whips as if she had no friends. There are many rubric in which there is a word like a friends, family, etc. This relationship have to be understood broadly. A friend is a person in whom you can confide. It is one with whom you have a mutual understanding and is one from whom you can expect care and affection. You can have a friendly relation with anybody, including your parents, spouse, children, or even a pet dog. Similarly, family is group that is interdependent on each other, with the different roles assigned to differentiate different member. Your family could be your play group, your professional group, doctor-patient relationship, etc. So, if it very much depends on what you consider your family. You can belong to more than one family. Another word that occur is home. I had a child who pinned away after his parent went abroad, even though the boy continued to remain in the same house with his uncle and aunt. I used the rubric homesickness because the boy was missing home. Home is the residence of one's family with its emotional association. For the boy, home is the place where his parents are. Now, next rubric is fear high place of. The section on fear also has to be understood as a fear of reaching a position where there is a danger of a person losing his balance or control, falling down and getting badly hurt or even killed. This could refer to any situation in one's life. For example, the person is promoted to a very high position in his company and he gets frightened that he may not be able to keep his balance. He may make mistake or fail and then he will fall down from the position and hurt himself badly. Similarly, other fears are to be considered broadly. When interpreting an expression into the rubric, it is not the word alone that are important, but the way they are spoken, the gesture used, the tone of the voice, the expression on the face, etc. This will tell us which kind of rubric we need to choose. The other things that require emphasis is that one should confirm the interpretation from other sources, namely from other aspect of the person's life. Once such a confirmation is made, we can rely on our interpretation. Now, next rubric is convulsion, meaning involuntary violent disturbance, spasm, fit, violent agitation, etc. The rubric on convulsions give us those factors to which a person react violently or involuntarily. So, when a person get convulsion from being wrongly accused, like in straphysagria, this is one factor which can cause a violent involuntary reaction. Now next rubric is vaccination after. The remedy listed in this rubric are the one clinically found useful in the trouble aggravated after vaccination. Example, these are the remedies that are most susceptible or sensitive to vaccine. Vaccine being a foreign protein, it shows us that these remedies are most sensitive to foreign protein and therefore have a very high tendency to allergic reaction. These remedies are therefore going to be very useful in the allergies, atopic hypersensitivity reactions, and even autoimmune disorders. So the rubric vaccinations after can be interpreted as an increased allergic response. Now next rubric is here there is a case example. Here is a case from my practice with interpretation of the patient's expression in the rubric. The patient comes into the consulting room and give his name. When asked his age, he says 49 year and 6 months. I consider consciousness trifle about. When asked about his brother and sister, he mentions each of them precisely by age and give exact detail. Then I consider rubric as fastidiousness. While talking, he nods his head back and forth. Now I consider rubric head motion, constant, heater and theta rolling. He sits tense and leaning forward. Means I consider the rubric anxiety. He speak of a severe accident which he had. He immediately says they didn't pay me any compensations. Means I took a rubric avarice. In the hospital, he met a man and they become a business partner, but the partner betrayed him and he was quite angry. Where I took a rubric ailment from anger, anxiety with. Yet I continued the partnership because I was dependent on the business. At that time, I took a rubric anxiety alone when, fear alone of being, business talk off. Now partner was taking care of the business. So I took the fear friends has met with the accident that and I felt that left to me myself. I may damage the it may damage the business. So I took the rubric I injury himself fear to be left alone less he should. I am stuck now and I can't do much and this man may clear me further. Cheated me sorry I am stuck and now I cannot do much and this man may cheat me further in the future. I took rubric suspicious delusion thieves sees house in fear robbers off. Now I don't know what to do, he said. Where I take a rubric irresolution confusion of mind. Now he say I am losing sleep over this. I took rubric anxiety night. Then I had angina pectoris even though I was very careful with my health. I used to go for the checkup regularly. Where I take the rubric carefulness, anxiety, health about. Then he said, I think angina could be due to the financial crisis I had. Now I took rubric fear financial loss of. But he said, but today the crisis is over. Now I married late and my wife comes from a middle class family. I particularly wanted someone from a middle class family because she will not spend much. Where I took rubric avarice cautious. But I find she is very much money minded. So I took rubric censorious reproach others. I gave her money for example example for expense and she wants more. I took rubric anxiety expected of him when anything is. She saved some of the money and I put in some money too and we bought a garage. Now she says half of the garage belongs to her since half the money is from her side. So I took the rubric estranged wife from his. Now she say her uncle had given her some money as a wedding gift. I know that that is not true. It is actual the money I gave her. So delusion, thieves sees house is in and space under bed is full of thieves. Then he say, I don't want to fight with her since I have to live with her. So I took rubric delusion offended people he has fear alone of being. Now he say, I am anxious as if someone will take away the money behind my back. So I took rubric delusion thieves house in. When there is any noise in the house, I feel uneasiness. And I took rubric sensitive noise too, sensitive to voice too, and sensitive sense acute. Now he say, I close all the doors properly. So I took rubric rest cannot till things are in a proper place. Then he say, I see if there is anybody around. Then I took rubric searching thieves at night for. And then he said, I find there is not a single reliable person. I can't trust my own people. Then I took a rubric suspicious plotting against his wife. People in this house are. Delusion injury they are about to receive, and delusion conspiracy against him. Now he say, I have been advised to be careful with my health, to go regularly for walk and drink plenty of water. I do it much more than the doctor advised. Then I took a rubric drinks more than he should, walk more than is good for her. Uh, Now he said, on being asked to stop all the allopathic drug immediately, he become very fearful. Means I took rubric fear death of, fear happen something will, fear alone of being, lest he die. Now he said, one day he found the conversation is what? One day he phoned the clinic 6 times. Means I took rubric restlessness, anxious, carried, desire to be. Then once we started the treatment, however, his anxiety subsided. Now I took rubric anxiety railroad with when about to journey by ameliorated while in a train. He take his medicine quite strictly. So I took rubric religious affection. One of the impression I got was of the way he looked at his partner and the wife as though they are people who are slowly eating away his health, his wealth, like a leech drowning blood, and he has to be very careful not to let them do these things. If he relax even for a moment, they will start eating away at his property. They appear to him like a insect. So I took delusion rubric delusion see insect rats worming, which usually are active at night and which stealthily eat all the food at night. One has to be very careful. Uh, Lock all the window, put the mosquito net, spray insecticides, etc. Keep a mouse trap and not leave anything lying about. So it is because of this creature that one has to be suspicious, cautious, and careful, and anxious at night. Now follow-up note. This patient whose case has been video recorded has done well on arsenic alb and later 1M. Not only did we see the clinical improvement in the angina, but also his level of anxiety has come down significantly, and he has been able to tackle his business problem with much more confidence.